Hello, hello. We are live. It is Wednesday's Q&A. My name is Kathy Flynn, and we are live and ready to go for Wednesday's Q&A. So I'm coming in a few minutes late. I tend to always come in a few minutes late. Just want to make sure people are ready to go. We'll start off in a couple minutes. We are streaming live from the autism community, as well as the Autistic and Thriving Facebook group, the Autistic and Thriving Facebook page, and my Autistic and Thriving YouTube channel. So welcome, welcome. Glad to be back here on Wednesday, and I go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So waiting for some viewers to come in. Let's see, no one's here just yet. My comments are live and open. I know a couple people were asking if I was coming in live, so here I am. Here I am. I try to come in every week unless there's some unforeseen circumstances going on. So let's see. I'm just trying to think if there were any things in the group that people were asking about earlier in the week. I know that there was a couple of people who've been writing, people who are on the spectrum who were writing in the autism community about jobs and getting advice on, different jobs that they were trying to do. Well, this one person in particular was asking, Luciano, I think his name was asking about a job. He got a lot of great advice in the group. The autism community is a group of, I think we're we're at over 1,000 members now, right? Trav, I don't know if you're here. I know I got two people on. Let me see, two people from the autism community. When you come in, let me know that you're here. Say hello. Let me know your name because the names don't always come up from the autism community for some reason. And I'm going to try to make sure that, I could try to see the different names that come in so that you don't always have to write your name. That would be annoying. And we'll try to get this Q&A started. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm live in a couple of spots here. Okay, so let's see. Trav, Luciano wrote about this job, cashier position at Big Lots. He was just really looking for advice because he has a lot of anxiety. Well, not necessarily anxiety. He's very emotional, and it's hard for him to deal with people who bring conflict into the job. So, he's not a confrontational person, and he doesn't think he would do well with a job, with the public. So, other people were telling him that you can get used to it over time. That working in the public is like that. You can get all kinds of angry customers, and it is on them. It's not on you. So, I know, Luciano, you decided to not go back to that job during orientation and take some time for yourself and your family. And I respect that decision. But I just want to let you know that there's tons of jobs out there, and you want to find the job that's right for you. Other people actually gave you this advice as well, that you don't have to work in a public setting. You can work behind the scenes, or in an office where, there's very few people that come in and out, or, in a warehouse type of position. There's lots of different types of jobs where you don't have to interact with the public, and you only have to interact with a couple of employees, and that's actually super helpful. So, it's something you might want to consider. I know that somebody else gave you that advice as well. So when you're ready to look for a job again, Luciano, I would give you that advice, to start thinking about other types of jobs where you don't have to interact with the public, and you won't have to have that stress of, how to react, what to say when you have an angry customer, because let me tell you, that's reality, and it'll happen all the time. It'll happen on and off all the time, and you can get used to it and let it not bother you anymore if you get used to it and learn to tolerate it. Like, as someone else said, that they've learned to tolerate, a lot of angry customers in the public eye. It's something you can learn to get used to, but if you choose not to, put yourself up to that, then, there are other jobs out there for you. So I wish you the best of luck in finding a new position so that you can sustain some income. Like you said, you're looking for income so that you can, get out on your own and have a car and be able to afford to do more things. Let's see. Okay, I don't know. I'm hoping that when I look up into the camera that I'm looking straight at you guys, because then I'm not looking at my screen. The camera's all the way up there. All right, so if you're coming in, let me know where you're coming in from. I know I have a couple people watching right now, but I have no comments coming in. Oh, that's not what I want up there. I don't have any comments just yet. So just trying to, figure out some topics to talk about today without anybody asking any questions. Marissa, if you're here, let me know. Anyone else who's here and watching, let me know. Let's see.
Try to come in
Oh, that's me.
I might try to come in.
So I'm trying to see how I can figure out who's watching right now, or if any other comments are coming in from, that's going to be distracting. That's so funny. I'm like looking at myself going live with the with the words coming up on the screen. Okay, so I am going to talk about some behavioral therapy for a little bit. If no one else has questions right now, I'm going to, talk a little bit more about how to deal with aggressive behaviors, because I know a lot of parents have this concern. And, it's definitely something that when you're dealing with any kind of behavior that's, like oppositional or aggressive, crying, tantrums, running away, hitting, any aggression at all, which would include hitting, kicking, biting, throwing things. That is your child's way of communicating with you. We talked a little bit about this last week, and there's something that I didn't really get to talk about is the different functions of behavior. So we have 5 functions of behavior, right? And I'm going to actually be doing a behavior course all about these functions and how to handle each function later on in the summer. But just briefly, I can say that, hi, Facebook user, whoever you are, let me know who this is that's saying hi, because your name's not coming up. So I'm not sure who's saying hello to me. And then let me know if you have any questions or concerns. So there are 5 functions of behavior, and these functions solve an acronym for MEATS, MEAT and S. So M stands for medical. If your child has a fever or is not feeling well, has a stomach ache, has an injury, any of those things, even hunger counts as a medical reason for behavior. So if your child gets really cranky when he or she is tired, hungry, or doesn't feel well, is actually sick, then that's medical reason. Okay, that's a medical reason for behavior. So you want to rule out medical before you look into anything else. And if your child, let's say, gets aggressive or really cranky and starts tantruming like every day around the same time, and that time is like right before a meal, then maybe, that behavior might be out of hunger, or if your child didn't take a nap and is having a tantrum later on in the day, if you have a younger child, then that could be definitely because of, being overtired. So some of these behaviors can be decreased if we get proactive and we, make sure that your child is snacking and that your child is getting enough rest so that you don't have these behaviors that might, be able to happen. Some of them can be, you can get proactive about, but, when your child is sick, definitely tend to your child, that those, the thrashing out or any of that could just be because there's an injury, there's your child's not feeling well, there's pain, and he or she can't communicate, that pain necessarily. So especially if your child is partially verbal or even nonverbal, it's very difficult for your child to express how they're feeling, and they can't really identify those feelings. There's a lag in the comments. I don't know why there's such a lag. There shouldn't be too much of a lag. That comment actually just came through. I'm choosing whether to show them or hide them. So whoever just wrote that, 516, that was just 2 minutes ago. That comment just came through. I don't know when you wrote the comment, but I'm hoping there's not too much of a lag on the comments coming through and me talking. Okay, so one of the other functions of behavior, MEE, stands for escape. So if your child wants to escape the task that's happening right at that moment, he or she may try to hit you, hurt you, run away, try to get away with, not doing whatever you're asking your child to do. So, that could be, it's time to do homework and your child, hides, or it's time to go to the bathroom and your child hides, or, it's time to brush teeth and your child, kicks you, because he or she doesn't want to do that task at that moment. So escape is a big one. We have children who escape the task all the time at the table, and we don't want them to be allowed to escape. So we block them from trying to get up. We realize that means that they really need a break, and we try to give them like one more little tiny task, and then we allow them to take a break because we need them to not be able to escape. If we allow them to escape, then then they get away with that behavior. Then that behavior gets reinforced. And we don't want to reinforce escape behavior, because then your child realizes, oh, all I had to do was punch my teacher and she let me stop working and I got away with that. So next time I want to escape the task, I'm going to punch my teacher. We really have to be very careful about how we react to these different types of behaviors once we know the functions. Okay, so A stands for attention, and A is attention-seeking behavior. If your child looks right at you for a reaction, you definitely do not want to give your child the reaction he or she is looking for. If you give attention to attention-seeking behavior, it just gets worse. So that's a really big one to pay attention to. If your child is like doing things on purpose and looking right at you, trying to wait for that reaction, then that is definitely, I hope I'm loud enough for you guys. Never reward bad behavior. Yes, who is this that's talking to me right now? Facebook user, you did not give me your name. So I can identify you. Yes, you never want to reward bad behavior. And a lot of people say that all the time, but we say, oh, I'm not rewarding the bad behavior. But you don't realize a lot of the time, a lot of people do not realize that we don't say rewarding it, but we say don't reinforce it, right? So if your child wants an M&M, for instance, and he or she is screaming and crying for that M&M, you don't say, okay, here you go, just be quiet. No, because you just reinforce the screaming and crying. So that's, why it's so, and this is for all children, honestly, not just for children who have autism. Hi, Marissa. I know it shows your name on your end, but it doesn't show your name on my end, because I'm using StreamYard, and for some reason the names don't come through anymore. I'm not sure why. And you're not actually, I got to just refresh the community because I'm trying to see. Oh, here we are. There we are. I just got to mute this because it's coming through on my phone. But then now I see you, Marissa. Yeah, now I'm in the stream in the community, because most of the people that come in from the community. And then for some reason, the names are not there. But now I'm watching it on my phone, so I can see your name now. Hi, Marissa. And hi, Danita is here. Hi, Danita. My grandson is 6 and just recently does not want to get dressed. Nothing has happened to cause this at school or home. He picks his own clothes, but recently just wants to lay in bed. How do I get him motivated? Great question, Danita. So let's see. I'm wondering if it's something that maybe he realizes that getting dressed means he needs to go to school, and he's trying to avoid school. So he's staying, laying in his bed. I don't think it's the actual action of getting dressed. It sounds like it might be tied to something else. Like he knows that getting dressed means I need to go to school, and he's trying to escape that task, because maybe he feels like if he just lays in bed, everybody will leave him alone and he won't have to go to school. I'm not sure. Tell me a little bit more about your grandson, Danita. Tell me what he likes, what his favorite things are, favorite things to eat, favorite things to do. Tell me if he's going to school every single day. And if his teacher has said he's had any trouble in school. I need to have a little bit more information. Marissa saying that her son does that as well. He doesn't want to get up and go to school, I guess, maybe, or he doesn't want to get dressed, so he stays in bed. Danita, let me know if this is common, because this is like a kid's way of a class escape. behavior. So this is the E right there. This sounds like escape behavior to me, like classic, because especially if it's first thing in the morning, or sometimes it's like children don't want to wear shoes, but sometimes they don't want to put their shoes on just because they don't want to go outside. They know that shoes on means they have to go outside, and they're comfortable inside at that moment, or they know that that means they're going to go into the car or go into the community, and they may not want to. So there's a lot, we have to be detectives, and this is why I label myself as a behavior specialist, because I've been working with behaviors for a very long time, and we need to learn how to identify what is happening when these behaviors happen. And the way we do that is going through our functions of behavior. The way we label the function is by, getting some more information, taking a little bit of data, as we call it. So, we want to find out, like, around what time of day is this behavior happening? What are the circumstances? What are the circumstances behind the behavior? Excuse me, sorry I didn't silence my phone. My phone is ringing. And what are the circumstances around the behavior? So what time of day is it? What is going on in that moment that your child is trying to resist or trying to not to, do? And then what is the behavior? And then how do we react to the behavior at the end? Because the reaction also can fuel the behavior, especially if we react the wrong way. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys. Okay. So, Marissa said, get dressed because he knows when he does, we leave the house. So Marissa, is that always on school days? Or he doesn't like to leave the house? Does he not like being in the community? Like, Danita, that's what I need more information from you so that I can help you figure out how to keep him motivated. Because first I need to know what his favorite things are, because then I'll help you, you're going to need to set up a first then schedule for him. First get dressed, and then you can have, an M&M or, a couple minutes of a video on YouTube, or you can get to pick out your, breakfast or whatever. Let's see. He's 6 nonverbal. Oh, he's nonverbal. He loves his teacher in school. He loves pretzels and Chex Mix. This is Danita's comment here. He loves pretzels and Chex Mix. Very limited eater. Okay. He strips when he gets home from school too. The only thing I can tie to this is when he has to have a bowel movement. He withholds it. He just started using the toilet, but wears a pull-up. Trying your potty thing to get him into underwear. He resists any change. Oh, Danita, you're in my potty training course? That's awesome. Yay. That's so great. I really feel like you definitely need to move to underwear though, instead of keeping him in a pull-up. His favorite things are the iPad, white chocolate kisses you use as a reinforcer. So you're saying he strips down when he gets home from school. That tells me that he is a sensory kid. He does not like to wear clothes. Okay, so he's most comfortable without clothes on. And getting dressed in the morning means, oh, I have to go through this again. I have to go to school. I have to get up. I have to wear clothes. I don't want to wear clothes. They're uncomfortable. So one of the things, yes. Oh, you've tried all kinds of underwear. Oh boy. Are you having a lot of accidents in the underwear? Is he just resistant to wearing it and you're letting him wear the pull-up? It's going to be difficult to train him fully if you keep him in the pull-up, because it's just going to be like the diaper, and it's going to be it's going to take you a lot longer to train him. You have to make sure the pull-up's staying dry, because if he's going in the pull-up, then you're not really working on training. You're only sort of halfway there. And that's why we have so many kiddos who stay in diapers at 8, 9, 10 years old, because they never fully trained, because they were never fully pulled out of pull-ups. So let me know what's going on with that. Yes, he's very sensory. I could tell that right away when you said he strips down when he gets home. I know several students who do that. They don't want to wear their clothes. They strip down out of their clothes, and they're walking around the house naked, or even just in underwear. Or even, my nephew does this. He strips down and only wears very, very soft pajama pants on his legs. And he likes to just cuddle up in a very soft blanket, because a lot of his clothes are not that super soft feeling like his fleece blankets. So he's a very big sensory kid too. He doesn't like to wear, uncomfortable clothes. So as soon as he comes home, he changes. But he doesn't walk around naked, but he does change. He has 2 sisters, so he can't walk around naked. No, he's very resistant to underwear. Only one kind of pull-up. No accidents. He goes to the toilet to pee on a schedule. Okay. Well, if he's going to the bathroom to pee on schedule and he's not having accidents, that is amazing. And you're keeping the pull-up dry, so that is amazing. But you're going to eventually need to get him into underwear because you don't want him to stay in pull-ups because pull-ups are not really good for the skin, right? As long as they stay dry, it's better. But, diaper rash is like a big thing, and the diaper can be irritating to him, with his skin as he ages. He's only 6 right now, but I wouldn't recommend him staying in pull-ups long term. The only accident would be if he gets a Miralax. Okay, well if you give him a stool softener or something to help him go to not be constipated, then you're going to need to take him to the bathroom frequently on frequent schedule so that you can avoid the accident. He picks his favorite closets, red and black poly nylon. Okay. Clothes. Sorry, clothes I probably should say, but clothes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so he's particular about color as well, I'm guessing, and certain types of fabric that he wants to wear. So if you have his favorite things, then he should be getting dressed in the morning. But, let's say you say to him, have you ever tried to say, how do I get him to accept underwear? He'll be 6 in June. He's not even 6 yet. Okay. So, you're basically going to say to him that pull-ups are no longer available and that's it. I don't know if he needs to wear pull-up at night. If he's been staying dry at night, that's amazing. Excuse me. You want to, if he is staying dry at night and you don't need the pull-up at all, then you can get rid of them. Like they're saying, the pull-ups are gone. Let him pick out his favorite character. Does he watch anything on YouTube? Does he like any shows? You said he likes chocolate kisses. He loves the iPad. And pretzels and Chex Mix. What about, have you ever tried to say to him, oh, he's been dry at night since 3. Okay, so let me know about his characters that he likes, though, because maybe if you buy underwear with his favorite character on it, he might be more inclined to wear them, I would even say, he's probably so used to that feeling of the pull-up on his body. I don't even know, but I'm thinking like you could possibly even like cut out part of the pull-up and put it into underwear at first, just to have him feel that, and then slowly put less and less of it. That's a way to shape the behavior possibly to get him into underwear fully. He probably doesn't like the way underwear feels. You have to get maybe a very soft cotton underwear. You tried Elmo and Daniel Tiger. You tried to get rid of all the pull-ups and threw them away. He cried and held his urine. Oh. Well, it sounds like he's pretty much fully trained at this point, but we don't want him to hold it too long. If he holds it too long, you want to fill him up with some fluids. Danita, I'm going to, just to let you know. Oh, this is from Marissa. Is this Marissa? Yes, because he knows when he does, we leave the house. You tried to get rid of all the pull-ups and threw them away. He cried and held his urine. Marissa. Oh my goodness. Marissa, you're not in, I don't think you are in my potty training course. You would get a lot more other strategies from me in that course. He cried and held his urine. Oh, poor boy. So yeah, kids are going to cry. They're going to throw a fit when they're not getting what they want. We know what's best for them, right? Marissa, that is much better to keep him in underwear And, that eventually you're going to need to switch it over, so if he starts to hold it all day, you drown him out. I hate to say those words, but what I mean is you increase fluids until he can't hold it any longer, and you get him to start using the toilet, and then he's, not really afraid, and kids can get used to anything, right? If we let them, let's say, not ever go to school because they hated school, then that would be illegal, right? We know that they need to go to school. We know school is best for them, just like we know underwear is best for them, just like we know, healthy food is best for them. They may scream and cry, but the more they get used to it, the better they'll be. We know that we know it's best for them, right? So we don't want them to really steer our choices for what is best. They're going to scream, they're going to cry, they're going to throw fits, and they're going to maybe even get aggressive because that's what's worked for them. Oh, I cry and mommy lets it happen. So I'm going to keep crying because she'll just put back what I love. But if you make them go away and they're not there anymore, he'll get used to it. He's not going to cry for a month. He's not going to cry. He might cry for a day or two, but he's not going to continue to cry and cry and cry and cry. He'll get used to the pull-ups just like anything else. Okay. So, it's just a matter of getting used to it and shaping that behavior. That's important. Danita said, very limited in attention, not diagnosed with ADHD, but his focus is limited. Okay, that's fine. To different objects. You tried Elmo and Daniel Tiger. I thought maybe try underwear in the pull-up. Yes, absolutely, Danita. I would certainly try that. That's a great idea, actually. I would do that for sure. And then slowly you can maybe get rid of the pull-up. This way he gets used to the feeling of the underwear within the pull-up. And the pull-up is sort of his safety blanket right now. But eventually he'll get used to the feeling of the underwear against his skin. And then you can probably get rid of the pull-up. Marcus refuses to dress when I get rid of pull-ups. Okay. So we don't want him to refuse to get dressed. Definitely, Danita, start with underwear. Let him wear the pull-up over the underwear as long as he knows. Like if he gets wet, he will feel it so we can avoid accidents. And then eventually you're going to have to fade the pull-ups. But have you ever tried to say to him, first get dressed, then Elmo on YouTube, you can get the iPad and watch Elmo, but first you have to get dressed. It's called a first then schedule. And when we do a first then schedule, we're promising the then is something reinforcing. It's something that they can get after they've complied with you, after they've been compliant with the direction. The direction is to get dressed. Once they get dressed, they can get something rewarding. They can get to pick their favorite cereal, or they, between a choice of two cereals, or they can even get a little chocolate kiss, right? You said he likes white chocolate kisses. Yes. As a reinforcer. So, you could try that. I don't know if you've ever tried that. I try to keep clothes on. He rips them off. He sleeps naked. Should we not allow that? It's okay if he sleeps naked. Honestly, that is not a big deal. He's in his own bed, right? I wouldn't mind him sleeping naked. He doesn't have to wear pajamas, especially if he stays dry at night, right? That's not a big deal. If he stays dry at night and he doesn't have accidents in the bed, then by all means, let him sleep naked. That's probably what he feels most comfortable with. And that's the way he'll get the best sleep. You want him well rested, right? So that's where you can allow that to happen. But you're gonna need a social story. Social story is kind of like, tell your child, okay, this is this is the rules. This is what we do. So we can sleep naked, but when we have to get up for school, we can't go to school naked. None of your friends are naked. They wear clothes to school. We have to wear clothes when we go to school. So we have to get up and get dressed. That's just the rule, right? We don't go against that rule. So he has to get up and get dressed to get to school. Have you ever allowed him to not get dressed and not go to school? I'm wondering if that ever happened. Yes, I do. Took 2 of us 4 hours today to get him to school. Oh boy. I forced the shirt on him. He cried, then allowed us to get him dressed. Then once in the car, I gave him his favorite white kisses. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, that's going to be, maybe he gets kisses as he gets dressed. Let's do it that way. Yeah, thank you. I will make more social stories. Okay, yes. Perfect, Anita. Yeah, social stories help. He is 6. He should start to realize he's nonverbal. So he's going to try to cry and cry and cry. Is he using pictures? What is he using to communicate? Is he using sign language? Is he using pictures? Because if he's using pictures, then that's something that you can, work with. Like you can create a first then board, and it could say, it could show a picture of getting dressed. First get dressed, then, and he can, get the iPad when he's finished. So what we like to do is, if our children love the iPad, and we absolutely give the iPad in school, we absolutely let them be on YouTube and watch their favorite things. And you would be surprised all the different things that these kiddos watch. I mean, I love it. It's so unique. They will watch all different kinds of things on YouTube. And, it's amazing to watch them navigate sometimes through and find what they're looking for. Some of them watch cartoons. Some of them watch kaleidoscopes. Some of them watch music videos. Some of them watch sensory videos. They're all watching different things, and they love it. There's their way of tuning us out, zoning in, right? It's probably equivalent to you and I watching our favorite TV show, or scanning Facebook and reading reading everyone's posts and watching everybody's pictures, right? And videos and whatever we like to do in our free time. That's their free time, right? That's their, and some of them love it. They love it. So we're going to use it because it works. So now if it's a big behavior like this, it took him 4 hours to get dressed, right? That's huge. That he was probably, I don't know if he was late for school or what happened. So now it's disrupting your routine, right? It's disrupting. So you want to keep, want to let him have the iPad in the car on the way to school, or even at breakfast. I don't know if he gets dressed and goes right in the car. I don't know if there's a little bit of lag time. If you're home for a little bit before, you get in the car, let him get the iPad when he's fully dressed. That's the big ticket item, right? But as he's getting dressed, use the white chocolate kisses, because a one white chocolate kiss is like way too small of a prize, whatever we say, way too small of a reinforcer for the big task of getting dressed. And he's so overwhelmed by it because it's so uncomfortable for him that you want to reward him for every step that he takes. So he puts on his shirt, give him a chocolate kiss, or, maybe a chocolate kiss is a lot. So break up the chocolate kiss into little pieces. Give him a piece of a chocolate kiss. Then he goes to put his socks on, another little piece. He goes to put on, his pants, another little piece. So you take one chocolate kiss, but you slice it up into very small slivers, and he's getting by the end of getting dressed, he might have only one chocolate kiss, but he had it a little bit at a time. And that helped motivate him to get fully dressed, right? Do you understand? Okay, some PECs more consistently at school than at home. No sign language. He takes you to what he wants. We do first and then, and PECs one at a time. Okay, that's perfect. So I would definitely encourage you to use the PECs at home more, because you don't want him to just take you to what he wants. That's not an efficient way of communicating, and it doesn't support the PEC system at school. He will not really make a lot of progress with the PEC system if he doesn't have follow-up at home. So there are a lot of levels of PECs. I think it goes up to even level, I want to say 6, but it might even be 8 phases. I think there's 6 phases of PECs. And we want him to get up to the highest level. And if he's still kind of stuck in the beginning stages, that's because there's no follow-up at home. So the higher your kiddo gets, the more that they're going to get likely to be able to get a text device, an AAC device, which is way more efficient. It's expensive, but usually the school district supplies that device, and it talks for your child. It has a voice output. So what's amazing about that is that your child could start to put in all these things and have all this accelerated language in an AAC device. But your child will not get a tech evaluation unless he is at a higher level of PECs. So I know he's only in kindergarten right now, but I want you to kind of see, future pace him a little bit and see like where his future could be at if you guys work on that communication at home. That's so important for you to continue to work with, get that parent training to from the school, from the speech teacher, talk to the speech teacher. I know you're only the grandmother. I don't know how much his parents are involved at night because I know that they're probably working and you're the one caring for him. So, you want to definitely advocate for him, but you want to know what to do, So using PECS, whatever system, whatever level that he's on, I don't know if he's using a full I want sentence strip yet, or if he is just using simple pictures in his book. How many pictures does he have? Are they only of his reinforcers? Because that's usually, that's what our kiddos start out with. They start out with just like giving you a picture of what they want, but it leads up to an AAC device where my 5th grader who's going off to middle school next year is saying, I want red putty, please. And he's labeling like, what are these? And what's this? And he's labeling animals. He's labeling toys. What's this? What's that? He's able to say that's blue putty, or he's right now at a big level of labeling. Like, I could say to him, show me the one that you drive in. Show me the one that you eat. He's labeling things by function. He's labeling things by feature. He's actually doing it receptively, and we're going to be working on it expressively as well, So he's at a very high level of language. You only kind of get to that point in a communication device, because it can hold so many levels of vocabulary. It can hold animals and objects and furniture and instruments and all kinds of foods. And, they use it more than just to request things. They also use it later on to label their world and use their voice to let them, let you know how they're feeling, what they're talking about, what they're thinking about. He's using please and thank you. He's saying yes and no. It gets much deeper. So it really, really is important to keep that going at home. His mother lives with us. His mother works at night. Okay, that's tricky. Yeah, if she's working at night, then you're with him all night. Most of the night, you're doing the nighttime routine, I'm assuming that means, and you're working on the follow-up from school. And yes, you do want him to have a break from school. Like, I get it. He's worked hard all day. You want him to have a break, but you do want him to continue to communicate with the system they're using in school, because then he'll just make that much more progress. And that's super important for his communication, right? He needs the expectation that this is how I talk in school and at home and with my parents and with my grandmother and with my friends. This is my voice, and I need to take it with me and use it everywhere with everyone. Okay, that's an important distinction we want to make for him. We want that expectation to be there, that he should use his pictures at home. So many parents have told me, they don't use their book at home, or they don't use their device at home. And that's a shame, because that's the difference between a child who makes a lot of progress with vocabulary and language and a child who stays pretty stagnant. So, I would really encourage you, Danita, to continue to use his pictures at home. And when you have questions about his pictures and how to use them specifically, then, you ask his teachers, ask his speech teacher, but he should basically be using his pictures in his book to ask you for things that he wants, instead of taking you by the hand and bringing you to that location, to that toy or to that food or whatever it is. Now, if he has open access to his iPad and he's never requesting it, that's another problem. We don't want, our kiddos to have open access to their favorite things. Then they'll never request, right? If they, I say this all the time, most of the food is away, right? The food is away. It's in cabinets. It's in packages. It's in containers that our children cannot open by themselves, right? So many of them have fine motor issues, and they have difficulty opening up these packages and these bags and these boxes where the food is. And they don't necessarily, they might try. And if they can't open things on their own, they're going to need your help, right? So that's when they intervene. That's when they go to you. However, if all their favorite toys and their favorite activities are out and about, ready for them to use at all times, they don't have to request. There's no expectation there for them to request those items. And then they're not working on that really, really important skill of requesting. So this is actually in my communication course. I talk about putting things away strategically in like clear plastic containers, so that your child has to ask you to open it. Your child has to involve you and make a request. And so if you don't have pictures, Danita, of his favorite things at home. If you don't have a picture of his iPad or of the white chocolate kisses or his other favorite foods, then you're going to need to make those pictures. Like take pictures of those things, send them to his speech teacher and say, listen, these are the things that we use at home. I was told to, start using his textbook at home. I think it might be better for him. Can we get the pictures of these things? So I took pictures, they'll say to you, and I don't know why your speech teacher Danita, where do you live again? And let me know where you live and what school district you're in. If you're getting any kind of parent training, but, that would be one of the things I would ask, his caregivers, what are you using the textbook at home? And if not, what does he request? What is he looking for at home? Let's take those pictures because the things kids eat in school are not necessarily the same things that kids eat at home, or the things they play with in school are not necessarily the things that they play with at home. And so you want to know, you want to have pictures of his favorite things for home and then use just those pages for home. Maybe some of the things that are in his textbook don't apply to you. Maybe they're only school activities or school objects. But if he loves those objects, honestly, you might want to have those at home too. But if there are things at home that he loves more, take pictures of those things and send them to his speech teacher. And she should set you up with some of those pictures for you. She should take the time to, laminate, print those pictures out, cut them, laminate them, add them to his book. And then he can have a couple pages that he has for home use so that he is using his book at home. I got to go. Thanks for your input. I will let you know how it goes. Mandan, North Dakota. Wow. Okay. Nice, Danita. Thank you so much for jumping on the live and let me know where you're coming from. Wow, he has like 50 pictures. That's a lot of great pictures that he should be using. Definitely continue to work on it at home. I would encourage you to do that. And he'll get even better with it. That's amazing. That's really great that he's already making that much progress and he's only 6. So awesome. Great talking with you, Danita. I don't know, Marissa, if you're still here, let me know. You wrote before about getting rid of the pull-ups and then you stopped. I don't know if you're still here. Now it looks like, I have someone from my other group, Autistic and Thriving. Let me maybe go over there and see who's coming into that community. And if you're still here, let me know because I am still live. And Danita came in from that spot. So that's where Danita was coming in from. Thank you, Danita, for coming in from Autistic and Thriving, my Facebook group. And let's see if I have anyone else coming in or anyone else that has any questions. So let me go back over what I was talking about before, and then maybe I'll bounce off. I've been on for almost an hour. For the rest of the MEETS acronym, we did M is medical, E is escape, A is attention, T is tangible. When your child wants a tangible item, let's say like the iPad, and you're not willing to give the iPad at that moment, and he or she goes to bite you or hit you or kick you or throw something at you because he or she wants what he wants when he wants it or she wants it, that's a behavior that's happening because they want that tangible. It could be something, their favorite snack. It could be their favorite item. And if that item's not available at that moment, they could get behavioral. They could get aggressive. They could cry. They could tantrum. This could also be in the absence of something too. Like Marissa said, her son wants the pull-up and he's crying now to get that pull-up back on his body. That's a behavior that he's having for a tangible item. Usually it's a favorite item. If the pull-up is a favorite, that can happen too. So we want to be very careful about giving over that tangible item, T is for tangible, when your child is behaving badly, crying, like Marissa, you said, you shouldn't give the reward or the reinforcer over for bad behavior, but you're kind of doing that when you give him back the pull-up. You're rewarding his crying, with the pull-up. That's what he's looking for. That's what you're giving him, and you're kind of giving into that crying. So, it's tricky. All of what we do with our kiddos is super tricky. It's super overwhelming at times, and it can be, it can be, very hard to like listen to your child cry and tell him or her no, but it's best for him or her. And, you can allow him or her to have, those really fun, amazing times, breaks, sensory breaks and favorite activities and favorite foods all throughout the day. But you also want your child to be compliant. You want your child to follow a routine. You want your child to, learn daily living skills and learn to communicate. So what's best. It is so important to put those things into your day so that you have the upper hand. You have the instructional control. You are deciding when your child gets that favorite item, when he or she complies with your rule or your direction at that moment. So, if it's a new routine you're trying to get him used to, like wearing underwear, or if it's, just this is not available right now, but you can have it later, and he has to learn how to wait, is something that's uncomfortable for kiddos. They don't like to wait, or they don't like to have something new and different, right? But we can't let them have their whatever they want whenever they want. That's just not reality. So it's so important to, and your kiddos will survive. They will get used to it, just like they get used to school, even though they don't want to be there, just like they get used to wearing clothes, even if they want to be naked, just like they get used to wearing shoes to be out in the community, even if they want to be barefoot. It's the same thing. We can apply it to almost every part of their lives, right? They get used to these things, even if they're not the most comfortable in those settings. Okay. We can't just let them stim and be naked and not ever get up and leave the house ever. That's just not reality, right? If we wanted them to be super happy and they never learn anything, then maybe, but that's not reality. And so they have to learn to get used to different things. And of course, we can make adaptations for them. We can find the softest underwear ever. I really, that's a great idea actually for a clothing company to come up with like fleece lined underwear for kiddos with autism, because so many of them love soft, fleecy textures, I don't know, we could find like soft, very, very soft clothing for them, that tagless clothing, because so many of them hate the tags in their shirts, or they don't want, their pants really tight on their waist. So they have to wear soft elastic, they don't know how to tie shoes. So we get them Velcro. All of those things are adaptations we can make for our kiddos. There are adaptations. There are things we can do to help them in the environment that they're in. We're not supposed to be, I'm not saying to be cruel, but I'm also saying it's super important to, have expectations and have a routine and have rules and have discipline, right? And motivate your kiddo to follow those rules and that discipline and that routine by allowing them to have their favorite things, their favorite snacks, their favorite reinforcing activities when they are actually listening to you, when they are compliant. Okay, then they start to learn, oh, I do what mom says and I get this. I do what my teacher says and I get this. I learn how to do this skill, even though it's really, really hard for me, but I'm getting rewarded with my favorite thing. So I think I should try, So those are the ways that we get our kiddos to be compliant and to learn skills, to learn amazing, fabulous skills that'll really help them long-term, right? That'll help them when they're adults and they're able to do so much more, and maybe even be able to have a job and be able to care for themselves and not, we future pace them, right? We always want to future pace them and have them be the best that they can be. Let's see. Oh, Marissa, you are still here. Let me go back. I think you are still here. Now she just joined me again. Marissa, where am I? You don't see my live anymore. Very true, but I can't work online and listen to him screaming. Oh, Marissa. It was bad. LOL. Okay, well, I know we do have to kind of keep our kiddos quiet while you're working. Let's think of ways that you can, get him comfortable. I would try, like, if you're going to do it with underwear, even try it on days that you're not working. Try it all weekend. Try to do like Danita said, put underwear and then the pull up. See if that helps, because he really needs to like feel wet. He needs to feel wet if he has an accident in order to fully potty train. In order to not want to be wet, they kind of have to get wet initially to understand what that feels like, because diapers are too absorbent. They're too absorbent. Okay. So then the S in the MEETS acronym is sensory. And we talk about sensory a lot on through our lives. Sensory seekers, sensory avoiders. If your child is having a sensory meltdown, then that's behavior coming from that. So we want to be able to identify the sensory meltdowns as well as a cause for behavior. So those are our 5 acronyms that I went over today, and I helped my 2 people who joined me. Thanks for joining me, Marissa and Danita. And great idea. Yes, Marissa, try it, because it's a way to shape that behavior. So what we want to do is, when we don't want to go cold turkey, sometimes we want to slowly shape behavior by adding in what you need, but maybe sort of still keeping the old thing that they're used to, or and slowly switch it out. Just like when you need to change your child from, formula over to milk, right? You slowly wean down the formula and add more milk to the bottle, right? To wean them down off of the formula and get them on full milk. I remember my doctor telling me that. I'm just using that as an example because most of us are all moms here. That's kind of like a shaping behavior. That's exactly what shaping is all about. Please don't do that. You're distracting me, and you're popping in and out of my screen. That's my son trying to dance over here. Get my attention. That's attention-seeking behavior. I'm trying to ignore it because he's trying to make me stop my live. No, anyway, I've been on almost an hour. I have been on just about an hour. I went on a little after 5 o'clock. And it's 6 o'clock now, so I'm going to jump off. But I'm glad we talked about the functions of behavior today. The only way to tell which function is happening when behaviors happen is to take data over time. And if you let me know, what's happening over time, I can give you strategies and kind of tell you what I think the function might be. And based on the function, we have a plan of action. If it is attention-seeking behavior, you want to ignore that behavior because they're looking for attention. If you give them attention, let's say they hit you in the face. I had a kiddo who used to slap me in the face, and we can't react. If we react, we all reacted. I reacted, the paras reacted, the speech teacher reacted, the physical therapist reacted, his parents reacted, his sister reacted, everybody reacted to the behavior. So what happened? It increased. Of course it increased, because that's what he was looking for. He was looking for you to react when he slapped you in the face. He's looking for the, shocked, oh my God, I just got hit in the face. And he would hit hard. It would sting. It was bad. He's looking for that shocked face. And then he was looking for you to yell at him. And no, we don't do that because that's what everybody did. No, we don't hit. Put your hands down. Your hands need to be down. We don't hit faces, or whatever it is that people would say. So what would he do? What was his reaction? This was classic attention seeking. He would hit you, and then he'd go, and then, because he was waiting for, please stop. He was waiting for you to have a surprised face, and then he's waiting for you to yell at him, and he gave a sad face. And he knew the setup. He knew it because it would happen every single time, and he wanted that consistent routine. He was getting all of this attention, even if it was negative attention. So it's super important. I have this kiddo right now. That was my former student. We started ignoring, the entire team and his parents all started ignoring the behavior and not reacting when he slapped you in the face. Even if we had to take his hand and bring his hand down, we could hold his hand down, but we wouldn't look at him, and then we try to redirect him right away to something else. Or we would kind of pretend that the slap never happened, and if he tried to go hit you again, you can hold his hand down, but you don't address the behavior. You don't talk about it. You don't give him a punishment, nothing, because that's exactly what he was looking for. So yeah, the more we ignored it, the less it happened. So that is a clear, classic way to address attention-seeking behavior. I have a student right now who puts things in his mouth on purpose, tries to run out of the room, acts really, really silly. He's looking right at you. He's waiting for a reaction. If we react, he gets what he wants. So we have to be very, very careful about reacting to that kind of behavior. And so that's not something that you can address, by using your voice. You have to ignore that behavior, and you have to be strategic, making sure your child is still safe and making sure he or she is still not hitting you, holding their hand down, redirecting their hand to something else, to hold something else, whatever it is. Because at that moment you can give over a tangible because they're looking for attention. If you're not going to give the attention, but you want their hands busy with something else so they don't continue to hit you, that's okay. That's like kind of a replacement behavior that you're giving your child, but you're not giving your child the attention that he or she is looking for. So that's just one example. I have a wealth of knowledge, and I always try to share as much as I can every Wednesday, but I don't try to go on more than an hour. So I am going to sign off for this week. Thanks for those of you who came in, Marissa and Danita. Again, I go live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for right now in all of these groups. And I appreciate being able to have this opportunity to talk about all things autism and autistic. I'm signing off right now. I think someone else just jumped in. I don't know who you are, but the live is ending. Someone else from the autism community is jumping in. You can go back to the beginning and watch from the beginning. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.